Welcome to Bold Business podcast show. This is Ros Jones, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Katherine Bray, fitness coach. Hi, Katherine.
Hello, Ros.
It's so good to see you here. It's been a while since we had a chat.
Yes, it has. It has.
And today we're going to talk about your business journey, things you've had to overcome, what the exciting plans, and some of the things you've learned along the way, if that's okay?
Yeah, that'd be lovely.
So tell us how it started, Katherine.
How it started? Well, it started about 14 years ago when I decided to actually reinvent myself. I came out of my marriage. I got divorced and thought, I really don't know what I want to do. And then I started to follow my passions. I started to follow the things that really excited me. And that's always been keeping fit and sport. And so I decided I'd join the gym, and it really helped me grow at a time of adversity when my confidence was low. I didn't feel very weak, very strong mentally, and my body felt quite weak. And so I started to train in the gym, and I could feel the transformation physically and then mentally. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And the gym owner who had the gym was actually a friend of my brother's. And I said to him, Ian, how did you get to be a personal trainer? I'd really like to do that. And he said, well, this is where I went. And he told me where to go. And I threw myself into it, went and did the course, got a job with him. And it just went from there. And I just started following like a step-by-step process. And really the dream was just at first, just to get a job that would which would run around the children, but doing something I really loved, not just something that it just paid the bills. I wanted both.
Yeah. And I love that because when we first met, you were at that gym, I remember. You were delivering the lessons and then it all changed.
Well, yes, it did actually. It was a different gym by then because I'd moved house. So it was the second gym where you met me. Well, what had happened was I'd decided to try and build my own business. So set up on my own and work for myself, but I still had the gym job. So, most people start that way, don't they? Yeah. You kind of start up a little side hustle first and you start to establish yourself. But how that all came about was, I was actually approached by an work colleague, and she said to me, I'd hate going to the gym. I'd really like somebody to train me at home and get me fit. Katherine, I'd really like it if it would be you. And that's how it started.
Amazing. Then you moved house and you carried on that for quite a long time, didn't you? Until the other dream came along.
Well, yes. Well, I've now been doing fitness coaching, personal training for 14 years.
Wow.
And a lot of it, the success has been down to the fact that I've invested in coaching for myself, as well as with me coaching other people. And I think that's really important, that you're always constantly developing. But that's probably down to you, Ros, because I met you at that business club and we were kind of venturing out together at the same time, just starting out and having that accountability, but also a point in the right direction of what to read and the things I should be surrounding myself with. That as a coach is really important, because how you come across is super, super important. You cannot have a negative mindset if you're trying to encourage others to have a positive one. You've got to walk the walk, if you like. And it's grown from there. I moved house again and moved to Pickering. And so then established myself in Pickering, doing mobile PT. And then I went on to own my own gym.
Yeah, that was so exciting.
It was so exciting. And
not such a good time in the world.
It was really difficult because I took the leap and I bought the gym decided to buy it in 2019, actually owned the gym from January 2020, and then 3 months later, of course, we had lockdown, and we bounced in and out of lockdown more times than we should have done. In fact, you could argue that it didn't really do anybody any good for the whole of it, and we're still recovering now. But we used that time to actually refurbish the gym, and we actually made it work to our advantage, and we went on to be quite successful. I then came out of that partnership and decided that actually it was watering down my decisions and how I saw where I wanted to be as a coach and what I wanted to offer clients. I wanted more than just offering them a gym space. I want to help people develop and grow, and that means you need to do a little bit more than just offer them some gym equipment. And I think people that come to me for that reason, because it's a holistic approach to fitness, rather than it just being about what you eat and how you exercise, because they're two obviously very important ingredients, but it's literally only a tiny slice of what's going on. And without looking at people as a whole person, looking at the lifestyle, looking at their relationships, their friendships, where they hang out, their habits, all of these things that you teach as well. There's a lot of synergy in what we do, is that you've got to have the right environment and the right acquaintances and the right relationships for you to really become successful. And I think that's really, really important. So it's more than just exercise. It's more than just food. It's actually, you've got to look at everything, how you can improve your mindset and your outlook towards all your habits and how you come across in the world. That's not just about food and drink and exercise. That's
it's your energy,
everything. It's your energy,
But do you think, though, because I absolutely hear what you're saying, and I agree with everything. But in terms of what I've found with people who I work with, and you are such a wonderful person fabulous person to work with. So thanks for that endorsement, Catherine. But the one thing that I find is that it can feel a bit overwhelming to somebody who is, say they're at point A and they want to get to point B, and there's so much to do in between that it can put them off. So sometimes it's just the little steps. And I found, this is my own experience actually with exercise, because I had a crippling back problem for years until I started to exercise. Nobody could help me. The doctors would just wrote me off and said I was beyond pain relief for the rest of my life. So I started exercising, and just through doing that every single day, I just built it up until I was running half marathons. I never would have believed that was possible. But what happened to me was, because of the strength and the confidence that comes from, as you said yourself, what happened with you when you started exercising, it then changes your whole self-belief, doesn't it? And so it sort of has a snowball effect, and then you can approach all the other things.
Yeah, it's that book, isn't it? The compound effect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. The thing is, what happens is that we all know what to do, but the only way to do it is to keep doing it. It's applied application. And when you see somebody with a fit body and you understand that applied application, it shows a certain strength of character in that person, and that person has grown in confidence because they realize that the applied application of doing something good for them on a daily basis, that self-discipline, actually helps create confidence. The more self-disciplined you are, the greater the level of self-confidence you'll have, because you don't let yourself off with, well, I can't be bothered today. Despite not being bothered, you make yourself go and do it, because it's those days that you need to go and do it most. And when you overcome that, you're like, okay. And it's the small steps. It's not, we don't get to the top of the mountain with one step. It's the just keeping moving forward each time. And sometimes we have to pause and have a rest, and that's okay. Sometimes we have to reverse a little bit and relearn something, and that's okay too. It's as long as we are constantly doing something that's taking us towards that goal, then we'll get there. It's that the only thing you can do is, the only thing you must avoid doing is stopping altogether, because then you've got to get started again.
Yeah.
So just doing something, even if it's just one thing a day to improve your life, you know, and actually becoming self-aware of what you're doing in your life and your daily habits is also really powerful.
Yeah, I think that's probably, in my experience, it's probably the number one most important thing, because we can spend a lot of time deluding ourselves, can't we? And as you say, making excuses and whatnot. But
that's an interesting point. The mindfulness thing. Everybody sort of goes, oh, yes, I practice mindfulness and all of that. And actually practicing mindfulness and taking yourself off to do a bit of mindfulness colouring or whatever it is, or meditation, can actually be a distraction. What we should be doing is using the mindfulness to become more self-aware. It should be a moment of self-reflection and self-awareness, so that then we can actually think about where we are compared to where we want to be, and also, or even just being aware of where we are now and asking ourselves the question, okay, how do I feel? Am I content? Am I discontent? I don't want to use the word happy, because we're happy and sad all the time, but it's the underlying contentment that we should be looking at. And if you're finding that actually you're feeling discontent most of the time, that's something that needs to be addressed. And that often manifests itself as small levels of stress. It might just be a slight underlining, just a little bit of stress, because we just feel slightly out of alignment. So it's that self-awareness of getting yourself back in alignment, if you like.
Yeah. What's the next steps then for Katherine Bray, fitness coach? Because I know that you've been working hard. I know we see you a lot on social media. I know you've done a lot of videos and things like that. But I know that, well, I have an inkling that you've got plans for something else coming up.
Oh, I have. I always like to develop something new. I'm completely passionate about trying to improve the lives of others. Okay. That's what lights me up, is actually helping somebody else. And what has come through over the last 14 years, actually, with me helping and training people, what gives them the long lasting effect of transformation, the people that manage to transform their appearance, their lives, are the ones that actually go through a much longer process. They're the ones that actually go to the root cause. And I give people this information all the time when I'm training them one-to-one. And I want to be able to work with more people, but obviously time is finite. I can only see so many people at once, and it can only affect one person at a time whilst I'm seeing them in that hour. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I could develop something that actually lots of people can access, so I can systemize what I do on a one-to-one level, but put it in a way that makes it accessible to more people, so I can help more people and leverage my time. Roz actually taught me that. So I've gone through a bit of a process, and I had another friend as well, and she said to me, why don't you do an online training program, Catherine? And I said, yeah, but I've got to take time out to do it. She said, no, she said, deliver it in real time. So you write the program as they're on it. So I took a pilot, and I had got a pilot of 8 people, all ladies of a certain age, all busy women struggling to get on track, highly stressed, can't fit in exercise, want to get fit but just don't know where to start. So got these people together and put them in a group, started building my app. And the app actually is a drip-fed, lesson by lesson approach to all aspects of your health. So your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health, all of those things, right down to what you eat, how often you sleep, mindfulness, all of that, all in one place, all in one app. And they've just all come to the end of their pilot. Right. I've had some amazing results. Halfway through, one of them had lost over 20.5 inches. Wow. Which is incredible. Yeah. She's gone from hating exercise to saying to me as it's coming to the end of the program, what am I going to do? Yeah. What's next? I need something to do. I love your exercises, and we're only doing this every other day. And she said, and I've loved the mindfulness practice. I feel so much more relaxed about my life. I feel more in control of where I'm heading. And they've all said these things. And that's important, because if you're not content, you won't spend the time on yourself.
Yeah.
It's all about self-worth and self-value, and actually starting to put yourself at the top of that priority list instead of the bottom. As women, we tend to naturally nurture and put other people's needs before our own, particularly if you've been a mother. That even more so, or even as a wife, we're all conditioned to believe that actually our place is to make sure everybody else is happy first before we see to our own happiness. But actually, that's the opposite way round. If you're unhappy, you're filling everybody else's cup from a half empty one, or if you want to say half full, you're eventually going to run out of steam with it, basically. So this is about avoiding burnout and actually energizing your mind, body, and your soul. Which is really, really amazing. And I'm launching this for real in January.
Wow. So ready for New Year's resolutions.
Absolutely. I'm not a lover of New Year's resolutions. I prefer to call it a reevaluation and a reset, and setting your intention rather than a resolution. A resolution sort of makes you think that it's about restriction and giving something up, but it's actually it should be more about what you're going to gain.
Yeah, absolutely. What's it called, and where do people find it?
It's called Reignite Your Spark, the actual program. It's on my fitness app, which is Katherine Bray Fitness Coach,
fabulous.
Which is very simple. You can also find more about it on my website, which is katherinebray.com, and you can find me all over social media. I'm always on there.
Fabulous. I'm very excited about this next stage for you, but also for the benefits that other people will get from it. I guess it's not just for women.
No, it's aimed at women, but anybody can do it. It's relevant for any person. I tend to work mainly with women, and women tend to resonate with me more than men. However, I do have male clients as well. But the group that I'm coaching, I'm looking for, is just an all-women audience. But I would be interested in having a male group as well. It's mainly because women like to talk about women's things with women, and men like to talk about men's things with men. It's not a sexist thing. It's just what people are comfortable with, and that's the only reason why it's gone that way. It's just that's how people naturally gravitate. So.
Amazing. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and hearing about the results. The other thing I wanted to ask you, actually, Katherine, while I still have you, is a question I like to ask my guests. Is if you've been around a bit now, so and you've been through ups and downs and the roller coasters of business. If I was sitting here before you today, just about to start my business journey, what's the number one piece of advice you'd give?
Wow, number one piece of advice. I would say keep checking in with yourself. Either check in with yourself or have somebody to hold you to account, a friend, family member, or even a coach, just to make sure that you're working towards what you want to work towards. And so you can ensure that you're always kind of like on track. Because sometimes we can get dragged off down a path that takes us off from where we want to be. It's the same with exercise and weight loss and looking after your health. It's very easy to just lose our true north. And I think it's just checking in with where you are and that you're working towards what it is you want to get from it. Because sometimes we set out with a goal and we think it's one thing, but we get attracted by the shiny thing.
That's right. Yes.
And we go off the track. So it's important to keep on track.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. About being focused and disciplined, then, I think, is summarising our conversation.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Katherine. It's been great to have you on my show.
Thank you.